Welcome to Jeanette Talks a Lot. Grab your favorite drink and let's talk about all things stories. My drink today is Lipton Green Tea Purple Acai Blueberry. What are you drinking today? So, in light of America's 250th anniversary that we recently celebrated on July 4th, I wanted to take a look back at what was happening on this land and what led up to the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. But it also got me thinking about how our historical documents tell a story about the circumstances that went into the creation of them. Now, the history of human migration to North America has been debated over the years. And every time new artifacts are discovered, it sets a new year on the timeline of possible proof of humans. So it's an ever-emerging history of the study of human life. And especially here, because in North America, even including Canada, we had various ice ages for many, many years, even centuries. So many suggest that there is evidence that humans and large animals came over from Siberia to Alaska on what is called the Bering Land Bridge. And that was beginning as early as 30,000 BC to 23,000 BC. And others came from the same direction on a boat or boats around 20,000 BC. And many of our modern day Native American ancestors have some evidence of life around 11,700 BC. Let's move forward to 1585, when a British outpost was set up in Roanoke Colony, which is today North Carolina, USA. The United States of America was a British colony for about 190 years. I don't know why I didn't fully grasp that back in American history class, but better late than never. The early leaders or colonists of what would become known as the United States had left their homelands from France, Spain, Holland, Sweden, Norway, and the majority from England. John Locke had political theories that he published in 1690 called Two Treatises on Government. He argued that every person was born free, equal, and independent. All persons possess certain natural rights, including the right to life, liberty, and property. He believed that the main purpose of government is to protect those natural rights, and in a sense, it's a social contract where the people agree to establish a government and abide by its rules. That's how the American colonists justified the rebellion against English rule, because of the concepts of natural rights and a government based on a social contract. In the mid-1700s, the ties to the British monarchy were still very strong. A series of events caused a change in the British policy with the American colonies. They had the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War, which was between Britain and France from 1756 to 1763. And after this, the British government needed more finances to pay debts and defend the growing empire. They started taxing the American colonies and applying more direct control over trade. Also, the American colonies were losing trust in Britain because they fought alongside the British in the war and felt like they should receive some credit for the victory. Then came the Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Boston Tea Party, and the First Continental Congress in 1774. In April 1775, British soldiers, redcoats, fought with the colonial citizen soldiers, or Minutemen, in Massachusetts. These were the first battles of the American Revolution. Within a month, the colonists had the Second Continental Congress, where they quickly took on the powers of a central government. They declared that the militiamen who fought in Boston were an official army. At this time, the colonists still intended to work things out with Britain. Thomas Paine wrote a pamphlet called Common Sense. This laid out why the colonies should seek independence and would be able to survive economically without British connection. In 1776, they had a resolution of independence introduced into the Second Continental Congress. On July 4th, 1776, a full Declaration of Independence was passed. Now, the text of the Declaration can be divided into 5 sections. 1 is the introduction. Number 2 is the preamble. Number 3 is the indictment of George III. Number 4 is the denunciation of the British people. And number 5, the conclusion. It's so interesting to look back at the beginning of a new nation or culture, and the Declaration of Independence is a historical document which allows us a peek into the situations going on at the time that it was written. There is so much that can be said about historical documents, but what I want to briefly focus on here is how much they can be used to pass down stories of a family, a community, a city, a country, and the like. Birth certificates, death certificates, adoption certificates, marriage certificates, divorce certificates, even property deeds when purchasing or selling a home or a building or even a vehicle, when you're signing contracts for work, like new employee paperwork, or you're signing with an agent or manager, when you're selling your half of a business, getting a driver's license. These are just a few of the documents that give a historical record or a snapshot of what was going on in that community at the time. These documents share what event was taking place or the beginning or ending of an era. They share the date of the event or the beginning or ending of an era. They share the location of that event or the place where it started or ended. They share the names of the parties involved and the names of the witnesses. They share the permanence or temporary time frame of this event or era. They share what was going right and what was going wrong at that time. They share the details of the meaning of the document or arrangements that the parties are promising to fulfill. They share the signatures of the parties involved at this moment in history. If you look at a document that you were a part of, no, the situation may not always be a happy moment, such as a divorce or a death, but the end of an era is always a great time to appreciate the good times and the blessings that came out of that era, and a great opportunity to look ahead to something new. It's all about perspective. If you look at a document, especially one that you had no part in, it allows you a glimpse into what was taking place in the lives of the people at that moment in history. I think it's important in these moments to take a second and appreciate the people who have gone before us and paved the way for other opportunities and blessings to come to us through their choices. Wherever you live, learn more about your country, find positive things about your land, and make your land better. Until next time, happy history hunting.